gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin, this is my co-host Teddy, and today we check out one of the cheapest keyboards I think I've ever reviewed on this channel. Oh, come here. I want to leave it plugged in so you guys can see all the nice lighting. And it's this guy right here. It's the Logitech G213 or 213 Prodigy RGB Gaming Keyboard. So yeah, this guy is really good in the sense that it is extremely cheap, but as you'll soon find out, there is a very good reason for that cheap price. But let's first start with the design then. And yeah, it's pretty plastic fantastic to the max. There's nothing really that exciting to do with it. Yeah, but hey, some people like the minimalistic type look, so it'll be good for those people out there. Now it is decently sized, I'll give it that much, and it does come with a hard plastic wrist rest from the factory, so that's good too for people that like that. However, it does come with one thing design-wise that I really didn't like. When you set it down flat without the stands up on the back, it is really flat, like too much for me. I like a little bit of an angle there. But when I put the stands up, it's got way too much of an angle, so it's sort of like, really? So yeah, that was one thing I didn't like, but that's probably more a personal thing, and maybe you'll like it if people like really angled keyboards. Hey, you'll be able to have a lot of fun with this guy. Now let's talk about the keys then, and this is not a mechanical keyboard. It is not. It runs membrane keys, and I know what we're all thinking. Oh my goodness, Kevin, why would you do a membrane keyboard? And yeah, it's not very good. Let's just be honest here. However, there's other perks to this, which we'll talk about a bit later, and it is extremely cheap. However, I will say it feels better than pretty much any membrane keyboard I can remember ever trying out. So that's pretty good. It's coming with 4mm of travel and a 50 gram actuation force. But yeah, coming from my Cherry Mix Blue keyboard, yeah, it just feels mushy, really unsatisfying, and but it's still not as bad. When I got given this a test and I saw that it was membrane keys, I was like, oh, this is going to be horrible. But it actually wasn't that bad, and that's not just me trying to be nice to Logitech or whatever. I actually mean that. It's not that bad. Well, not as bad as you would think. It's better than your average membrane keyboard, we'll put it that way, but it's nowhere close to as good as a mechanical keyboard. Now, it comes with decent keycaps. They've got a nice sort of feel to them. They feel okay. My main criticism with them is that they seem to, like, get marked very, very easily, which I don't like, especially on the spacebar. I mean, I've only been using this for like a week, and it's already like that, and it's sort of like, wow, imagine this in the long term. The keys look like they'd rub away quite quickly. So yeah, that's something else I wasn't really a big fan of. As far as layout goes, it's all very standard. Very, very standard indeed. You just get some media keys up in the top right, which is the only thing that's maybe a little bit different, and a Windows off button and a lighting button, Windows key off button. So yeah, that's about it, but pretty much layout-wise, it's just standard. Now let's move over to the lighting. So this is an RGB keyboard, and given the price, that is quite impressive, given that most RGB keyboards are, even the more basic ones, are sort of like double the price of this a lot of times, and the really high-end ones are more like triple the price of this. So yeah, that's quite good. The RGB lighting itself is fairly decent. I mean, it's a pretty good job for a cheap little keyboard here. It's a standard 16.8 million colors, and it shows up quite nicely. Maybe not as bright as some of you guys out there would like, and you can probably see on the camera that, but it still does a decent job, and when you're in a sort of low light room, it does show up a lot better. However, I didn't like the lack of lighting modes. There's only 4, which is a bit disappointing. So you have fixed lighting, which is pretty obvious what that is. You have a breathing effect, which is quite cool. That's a very standard one we see on everything. Color cycle, which will just go through all the colors of the keyboard, like what I have it on, set on right now. And color wave, which is probably the most adventurous one they included with this keyboard, but still, not really too much. So yeah, that was a little bit disappointing. I would have liked to have seen a few more modes there because some people really like to take advantage of that. Let's move over now and talk about some of the features. So it has a spill-resistant design, which is, yeah, it's good. I mean, at some point or another, you're probably going to spill something on your mechanical keyboard. I know I definitely have, so that's a really good addition there for all us gamers who spill our Mountain Dew all over our gaming keyboards. I suppose they would say. But yeah, so that's quite good. And it also features a Logitech gaming software, which, as I've told you guys so many times, it is fantastic. It's so good to use, very easy. My main criticism is just that it doesn't have the UI scaling, which means people that are using 4K displays like me, it's very, very tiny to use. And maybe people using 1440p displays, it also might be a little bit of an issue. But yeah, that's not really the end of the world. Which brings us now to the conclusion, and what do I make of the Logitech G213 Prodigy RGB Gaming Keyboard? So this is very cheap, as I alluded to earlier. Right now at Playtech, you can pick this guy up on special for 85 New Zealand dollars. Wow, that is cheap for a gaming keyboard. So yeah, that's really good, and I've checked overseas, and it's also extremely cheap everywhere, so that's one good factor with it. However, the design is still basic. I mean, it's not bad, it's just really boring. The keys are okay, especially when you consider the price, but it still doesn't mean I'm going to like them. I just do not like the feel of them at all. But that's me personally. Maybe if you're coming just from a normal membrane keyboard, it'll feel a bit more of an upgrade, I'll put it that way. The lighting is really nice, but it definitely needs more lighting modes. And overall, I think its main appeal will be to those people out there that are mainly concerned with lighting. That's how I would put it. Those people out there that don't really care about the switches or anything, they just want RGB lighting on a keyboard that they can, play with, then yeah, it would probably appeal to those people out there. Otherwise, I think it might appeal as sort of like maybe a gift to someone who works in office that just has a standard office membrane keyboard. They might like it. They might see it as an awesome upgrade. Having an RGB, it'd probably be quite fancy upgrade for them. Or if you have someone in your family who's just, or a friend who's a real casual type gamer that's just looking for a little bit of an upgrade or wants something to make their battle station look a little bit more fancy or something like that. So that's probably who it appeals to. But all the enthusiasts out there, of course, you guys aren't going to be interested in anyone who's anything more than a casual. Is not going to be interested in this, and rightfully so. And it's really not made for you, so I wouldn't really look at it. Now that's going to round out this video. As always, hit that like button and subscribe to Tech Showdown. If you really want to help me out too, you can check me out on Patreon. I'll leave the link down in the description down below, so you can go over there and support me and help keep the channel going, because I want to rely on you guys to help support the channel rather than companies and selling out like every other YouTuber, tech YouTuber seems to be doing these days. But I'm definitely not going to be doing that. You can count on me. So yeah, definitely do that if you want to help support me. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.